Okay, everybody settle down. I want to thank everybody who was involved in season 1 of That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast. It's a wrap and it's been fantastic. Yeah. Now, where do we go from here? I'm thinking we need to spice things up, get a little bit of, I don't know, actual sponsorship rather than the fake meta stuff that they were doing before. Anybody like that idea?
I've got an idea. How about, instead of doing season 2, the guys who do the podcast, which is not you and me, pretend that they're having a series of meetings about what to do in series 2, and that is series 2.
Well,
The Office came out 30 years ago, so that will really chime with the young people.
are we going to make it like The Office? I mean,
Not convincingly.
not convincingly. I don't think so. I mean, like, The Office, I mean, out of the two of us, who's the Dwight Schrute? Who's the Steve Carell or the Ricky Gervais here?
Who's the Oh, I was thinking maybe we just put some Office noises in and talk about Office things. And then just do an episode, maybe.
Like stuff like complaining about people microwaving fish in the microwave and
Yeah, and like photocopier noise and stuff like that. That'd be a really strong concept for a whole.
Well, it hit home to our audience, and of course, using all of our metrics, we know that most of the people that listen to the podcast are in an office,
or have been in an office, or live near an office.
Yes, those metrics are solid.
we captured that data, yeah, I remember.
We captured the fuck out of that data.
Yeah.
Oh, we captured it good.
Okay, but then how would we mention the socials, though, in that format?
By bringing it up in a completely meta way.
Such as?
You could ask me.
So what are the social channels for everybody in this office-based meeting?
Okay, for everybody in the office-based meeting, settle down. Yes, photocopier noises.
Put
And
your staplers away.
so yeah, staplers and something about water coolers and air conditioning being too cold. And also...
Packing tape.
Yes. And also... remember that it's That Guy's a Maniac, all one word, lowercase. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, the Twitters, all of the socials.
Yeah. And then, could we perhaps mention the actual website?
www.thatguys.uk. Oh, God.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like a good way to do it, actually.
You mean www.thatguys.co.uk, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course, very clearly, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we could probably do something like that. I think that'd be really good.
Cool. Is there any other business?
Oh, fuck it, let's do an episode.
Oh, God. Let's never go into acting. I think forced script work just doesn't work.
I think it was 100% convincing. Are we still recording? I mean, yes.
Okay. Well, let's bring it to some kind of actual sensible thing, which is what are we going to be doing today, Farley?
Today, we are bringing back a much-loved format. A little thing we like to call What Are You Playing?
Ah, good.
Where we talk about the games that we've been playing.
Right, so to kick this off then, you ready for this, Farley?
Yes.
What are you playing, stranger?
Oh, well done. That's quite good. They're remaking it, aren't they? Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. I don't know if it necessarily needs remade. Like, I think Resident Evil 4, as much as people would probably kill me for saying this, it just doesn't feel like a canon one in the series. Whenever you play Resident Evil 4, it's its own entity. It's like an arcadey version of Resident Evil.
You know, so off base on all of these points.
Off base? Why?
Yeah. It's not arcadey.
Oh, it's super arcadey.
Oh,
Every encounter just feels very arcadey because all you're doing is aiming for the heads. You know, it just feels very. It feels House of the Dead sort of thing.
But to me,
only difference would be is if it actually had some kind of a damaged number that came out of the zombie's head when you hit it. You know, and that would be the arcadiest game that you could imagine.
No, because I don't know. The way I think about arcadiness,
possibly ever imagine in your lifetime, the arcadiest game.
Yeah, if you added numbers above the non-zombies' heads when you shot them, that would be the epitome. It would replace other.
The numbers would sort of flow out of it in an arc. You know, it's just sort of like a bang.
Yeah, to me, arcadey kind of means it feels like a bit light, a bit ephemeral. So like it's a bit like Ridge Racer. There's not really much to do. It's really straightforward. There's not unlockables. There's not tons of things to do. It's just have a go on this, and it's very easy. And we're not going to throw loads. That to me, that's what arcadey feels like. Which, if you just took the heart or the action of Resident Evil 4, maybe, but then. So much of Resident Evil 4 is all the other stuff in it, right? Like the weird movement, like jumping through windows and closing doors and rearranging the inventory and the merchant and the boss fight. So I think...
See, I feel like the boss fights and the merchant add to that arcadiness because they are, like, specifically the merchant is very game breaking. You know, or immersion breaking, sorry. But you forgive it immediately. And I feel like there's a lot of moments of immersion. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we pull on that thread, there's so many things in every single game that make them immersion breaking. Yeah. But, I like, Resident Evil 4 is not a hard game. Like, yes, you can get overwhelmed. Yes, you know, you might have to take a couple of tries at a village so that you pick certain zombies off at the right time. But there's shit like there's one hit KOs in that game. It is a cheaty arcadey game, you know.
Yeah. When was the last time you played it going in cold with no health boosts and going in with all the items?
So the last time that I played it was when they re-released it on the 360. And now this was towards the end of the 360's lifespan. But they re-released it as like the GameCube one, or maybe the PlayStation one, which had the Agent Ada thing attached to it. Now, I own the GameCube and the PlayStation one, and for some reason still bought the Xbox digital version. Yeah. But I felt, you know what? I want to play through it again. So I did a full clean playthrough. In exactly the same way as I always play through that game. My favourite gun is Red 9. I ignore upgrading every single other weapon in the game.
Oh, such an edgelord.
What?
He's so edgy.
I'm not edgy.
No, he's so edgy.
Is it? Why is it edgy?
I don't know. Just play with Red 9 all the way through. So you don't use another weapon at all?
Oh no, I use other weapons. It's just... The only one that's worth upgrading is the Red 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite tough on that first playthrough, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. When you've not got anything upgraded, it's quite challenging, I think. So, okay, why is Resident Evil 4... We weren't talking about Resident Evil 4 at all, but we're going to do it. Why is Resident Evil 4 arcadey, but like... Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 aren't?
I think...
Is it just...
What makes it feel arcadey to me, and when I think of Resident Evil 4, the first thing I think of is the zombies, that the way they walk towards you and the gait that they move in. It's so very AI programmed, just like it knows that you are pointing at its head, so it sort of... And I don't know, it just feels like you're getting into the swing of a flow or a really strong game mechanic, which just becomes, you know, like if you replace the zombies with, I don't know, like flying UFOs, and you've got a ray gun instead, and every time you shoot them, it goes boing. You know, it's like.
Don't all UFOs fly? Isn't that what the F?
Oh yeah, it's true. Although some people call it LGMs UFOs.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
yeah.
But I did actually mean like flying saucers. You know, just sort of floating about the screen. And I think that's what makes it kind of become arcadey to me, because I think the mechanics become quite transparent, and also to succeed in that game, you need to know those mechanics and really play it. And so the zombies don't become scary zombies anymore. They just become these floating targets that you have to shoot. And I watch occasionally their heads burst open, and so you get that extra challenge. But it does kind of just feel like a Japanese target shooting game.
So would you say that Halo is arcadey? Which is kind of the same, right?
I mean, yeah, I would say that Halo... I mean, the thing that kills me in Halo is how...
massacres you.
Yeah. Okay.
Eviscerates you.
There is a thing in Halo which bothers me ever so slightly.
Is it the Halo? Is it John
no.
Spartan 117?
It's the jumping.
Is it the Warthog?
It's the jumping. Like, again, you know, you're doing this first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You've got your weapons. Everything's so like beautiful and nice, and then when you start to run, you can for some reason jump 9 times your own height, and you know, you're just like, okay, fair enough. That happens in games, but that's what takes any kind of realness which may have existed in the Halo game, the immersion, and just makes it silly. And I suppose that silliness could equate in some fashion to the arcadiness that I was perhaps talking about with regards to Resident Evil 4. Do you get me?
No, I get what you mean, yeah. So, like, maybe we should re-listen to every episode of the podcast, and every time we've been talking about arcadiness, we've been talking about completely different things.
Yeah.
For me, it's really... I mean, I don't disagree. I think you might be right. It's... particularly when you made the comparison to House of the Dead, and you can really feel that, you know, if I close my eyes and I imagine myself in Resident Evil 4, and you know, I don't know if Resident Evil 4 was the first one to do it, but now that like mechanic of you've got your red dot laser hovering on the head of something, and it does like a step to the left or step to the right. You see it everywhere now. I don't know if it was the first time in Resident Evil 4, but that really took off as a thing. So yeah, seeing like that and thinking about the House of the Dead, I can see where you're coming from. For me, it's more your sense of weight or impact in the universe, I guess, is how I always think of arcade. And also I think how much you can invest in it as well. So if it's like I don't know, I'd say like Geometry Wars was arcadey because you can't really invest much in it, right? You've got here's the level I'm on, and once I do the level, that's it.
Yeah, but you know, Geometry Wars is something I would definitely define as an arcadey game. You've got the score, you've got the floaty things, and to a certain degree, you've got twitch response, but the rest of the time you know what your enemies are going to do. The yellow ones are going to go from side to side. The pink ones will go in a spiral. And you're like, right, okay, you know this mechanics. And that can be applied almost directly to how you play Resident Evil 4 and those zombies. Maybe not like directly, but you can see the metaphorical jump perhaps there.
So you're almost tracing like a direct line back to something like Space Invaders, right? Where you have different
100%.
Enemy types.
Exactly.
Pac-Man, you have different enemy types. Wow. I understand your thesis, but I may not agree with it. Well, this has been very enlightening.
And neither of us have been playing Resident Evil 4.
No, not for a long time. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So let's bring this back. Bring this back again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the voice because it might take us on another fucking tangent.
Yeah.
Tangent.
Pageant.
Tangent. Anyway, what have you been playing, Farley?
What have I been playing? Well, I'm going to slightly go off. What am I trying to say?
Please don't go off on a tangent.
No, it's this first one I've got is what are you watching? Or what are you playing? Readers of the blog and listeners to the podcast, may have heard us talk before, or heard me talk before, about how I like to. I don't know. It tickles.
Get the words out, man. What have you been watching?
Part of my brain when you see gaming in like mainstream things. So,
okay, yeah.
I'm still, when I see like gaming related stuff on Netflix, it still makes me really happy.
Wreck-It Ralph and things like that.
Yeah. Because I remember when there was none of that, right? Whatsoever. It was just you were this weirdo playing these weird video games, and that was it. And then now it's I think as I was saying with a lot of the Square Enix stuff, like the Dragon Quest movie and the Final Fantasy Japan home-based drama / advert are things that kind of crept out and I didn't know anything about. So another one of these things when I was browsing the corners of Netflix was the Monster Hunter CG movie.
Okay.
Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild. Had no idea. I mean, quite a big Monster Hunter fan. Well, I say that. I played 2 of them. And I know there's a live action thing, or there was a live action thing with Mila
Jovovich, and it was released during COVID, and apparently it was terrible.
Yeah, I watched. There was like in a way that they're doing these weird 12-minute preview things. I watched that. I was like, oh, this is really strange. I think she travelled from the future to some monster hunter land. Anyway, not a big fan of the live action thing. But Capcom seems to love letting people make these things. There is a CG thing called Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild, and much like all their CG Resident Evil things like Infinite Darkness, also now on Netflix, and Damnation.
All right. Are we sponsored by Netflix? I thought we ditched the sponsors.
Oh no, but these are gaming things. Like those other gaming Capcom things. It's not very good. Well, it's okay. I think I might have said this when I was talking about Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. I don't know who it's for.
Yes.
They don't. They don't fill it full of. It's not for like huge Monster Hunter fans, and they fill it full of loads of references, and it's incomprehensible to anybody who has never played a Monster Hunter game, for obvious reasons, because no one would watch it or understand if they do. But then they kind of, try to tell a fairly traditional or not particularly complicated story, and it's a little bit charming, but in a way that just feels so generic against, any other. I guess it's a young adult. There's quite a bit of violence in it. So I guess your teen up audience. So yeah, I think the people who don't know Monster Hunter will be like, oh, that was an okay-ish movie, but weird because you've not really explained any of this whatsoever. And then for the Monster Hunter people will be like, oh, that was a bit of a, too mainstreamy to be of interest. Yeah, and that's it. That's my review.
Okay, cool.
I don't even know if I can recommend watching it. But again, I'm glad. I am glad it exists. That review might not have suggested it, but to have thought.
If somebody needs some background watching and you kind of like the Monster Hunter series, we've got the perfect thing for you.
But you actually do value your time. Then we've got a recommendation for you. I don't know if this will spin off more or if it was successful or not. But weird. I was happy to discover it. Weird.
Yeah.
And like I say, because Dragon's Dogma is also Capcom, isn't it?
Yes.
Someone's convincing them, or Capcom is making them themselves. I'm not too sure who kind of writes and produces them. So there we go.
Or maybe Capcom just needed some money and just sort of like, guys.
But I don't know how this would generate the money. It's not. And the animation is good.
But yeah, I mean, look, there's plenty of things with good animation out there. It's like all these. It's like maybe the 19th time I've brought this up in the podcast, but like the DC cartoons and the Marvel cartoons, they're great standalone little things, but they're never going to be popular. And I think it's a weird. Maybe there's still a stigma around animation. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know, because Monster Hunter is one of those huge franchises. Not so much. I mean, growing in Europe and America, huge in Japan. But then it seems, I don't know. Maybe it got cinematic release over there. But yeah,
maybe
like,
yeah. That's where it is. You're just kind of hitting the point. It's just like, we have made this for Japan. They like it. It's not going to do great in the West. We're just going to give it to Netflix, and here we got a couple of famous people to do the voiceover dub of it.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. But to me, it's weird because let's take this mega franchise, and then essentially make it straight to video.
Yeah.
So you could have. I think if you'd invested in it more, it could have done better. I don't know how well it's done. Anyway,
that's a general rule for life. But yeah.
Yeah. Could have. Yeah. Well, yeah. If you really wanted to capitalize that, but then I guess it's the same as the World of Warcraft. It's the same as every fucking video game thing they tried to do.
Yeah.
That was a really popular video game. How do we squeeze a 400-hour 7?
I mean, it's not even about the story. It's more just kind of like, here's a niche thing, which, not everybody has access to or has played or indeed has invested the 200 hours that you're supposed to invest in. So, like, how do you're automatically marketing to a smaller audience, and again, probably even a fraction of the people who actually enjoy Monster Hunter don't even really want to see the film. So it's a fraction of a fraction. It's a niche, tiny little market that they're angling this for.
I just don't know why
I'm really angry now. I am irrationally angry.
Yeah, because like I say, I'm a fan of the Monster Hunter games, and I sat there and probably a couple of listeners are like, "Oh yeah, look, there's the loss of prey. It's exciting." And that's all I was really getting out of it.
Yeah.
Extra.
I suppose.
So,
would you say that the Pokemon movies are perhaps a what's the word I'm looking for? An antithesis of this point, because they're super popular, and like people enjoy the movies even though they don't play the games.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they're a bit, because it's from the start. They were always like, here's an anime and a manga and a card game, so it has chops of its own. But even then, they make an extra effort in some parts of the world, not the fucking UK, but in other parts of the world where the release of the movie will, especially these days, will tie in with there's something going on in Pokemon Go, and
exactly,
promotional card, and there'll be a code.
There'll be a raid that's specially based around it. Yeah.
And if you can go to the one cinema in the UK in central London that's showing the cinema at 4:00 in the morning, you can get a QR code which gives you some. So at least there's the attempt to be like, hey, this is cross franchise. Whereas I think I mentioned with Dragon's Dogma, it's like, hey, remember that game that came out 8 years ago? Here's a thing based on it, and it was quite good. It was quite good, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe things don't need to have an economic underbelly to them. Maybe they can just be their own thing. Stop worrying about Capcom. I'm sure they know what they're doing.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
There's no point getting irrationally angry over Capcom's marketing team that think that the Dragon's Dogma animation is going to attract other people other than the ones that are actually... I wonder if there is someone out there who's like watched Dragon's Dogma on Netflix and is like, that's really cool. I wonder if there's, some other way for me to explore the lore and mythos of Dragon's Dogma. And then like, there's a game about it? No fucking way. I've got 300 hours of it. I'm going to pay Capcom money. This is like exactly what some stupid executive thought. It's like, let's put the cartoon out. Maybe we'll get more sales of that old game.
Yeah. I mean, was it even out? I think it was out on the Switch. I think that was the only thing it was actually out on.
Oh god, okay.
Yeah, but I don't think they even coincided the re-release on Switch with it. So yeah, I don't know. Or maybe there is someone out there who's just a huge Dragon's Dogma fan. Doesn't play video games. Has never touched a video game.
I guarantee that if you were to go on Google right now and put in Dragon's Dogma forum, there will be like at least 2,000 members, and they're all ranting about how XYZ is canon and all this sort of stuff, and the cartoon proves this point because look, he did this thing, we always knew that from the game, and if you get the good ending. I didn't even know what Dragon's Dogma is as a game.
I mean that's the other bad thing about it, isn't it? Is we're taking the piss out of people who've watched this and not played Dragon's Dogma. Oh, you haven't watched it or played Dragon's Dogma.
No, I haven't.
I've watched it and not played Dragon's Dogma. So we are the people who we were taking the piss out of.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we are. Yeah, we are what the executives want.
Yeah, we are.
We're promoting word of mouth.
Yeah, look, all 14 of our listeners.
14 is a bit generous.
That's including us. Are now slightly more aware of Monster Hunter and Dragon's Dogma, and we'll be running out to buy the art book and games. So yeah, that was Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild.
Yeah, cool. So you were watching a thing?
Streaming now.
Cool. On Netflix, you say?
Yeah.
Cool.
In the UK. Slightly weird Netflix disease. On a slightly related note, because, and I feel this always happens, well, depending on when you're listening, in the podcast timeline, Pokemon TV has just been released for the Nintendo Switch. It's a free app, and it always seems to be like really strange time. They're like, oh, here, have this free app you can download. It happens on the 3DS as well, and on mobile. And it hurts, and maybe in another country it makes sense, but it hurts me because Pokemon TV allows you to watch a really fucking weird selection of Pokemon things. 7 episodes of season 21, 2 episodes of the latest season, 2 of the movies. Maybe if they're doing like a short anime series at the moment called Evolutions, that'll be on there for a bit, but they won't be on there forever. And again, I just don't know who this is for because in the UK anyway, I know it's definitely different elsewhere. You can watch, I think it's the first season and the last 2 seasons of Pokemon on Netflix, but
did they not also do a big release of everything on YouTube as well?
Yeah, and there's also that. So sometimes they put whole episodes up on that. And then everywhere else in the world, I think, got the current anime series on Netflix. And we only got it just recently. There's no way to watch it. You could watch the first 2 episodes of it on Pokemon TV, and I think you could watch 2 more on YouTube. And so now we've finally got all of them. And it just drives me nuts. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm being irrational, but if I wanted to watch all of Pokemon, I think I probably nearly have done. And there's no way for me to do it legally. I don't think they've all been released. See, season 1. I think I ranted about this. It probably was season 1 of the Pokemon series came out on DVD in 2019. Season 2 not. So
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know who's making those decisions. Oh yeah, we'll put a few episodes here, a few episodes there. Oh, you want a season and a half and 3 films on Netflix, and then some on. Just put it all on Pokemon TV. Who is? Why wouldn't you just put it all on Pokemon?
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's create a platform to consolidate everything. Oh no, we can't.
No, it's also an awful platform. Awful. Like on the Switch, if you load up an episode, it sits there and thinks for 3 minutes before loading up the episode.
Awesome.
And on mobile, it just used to. I think you could use it online as well if you went to the Pokemon website. It would regularly, like, the circle would come up and you'd watch. Depending on your connection, you'd watch like 30 seconds at a time. This is not the best viewing experience. Yeah. There we go. And you can't even buy it. Maybe you can in other countries. You can't if you want to be like, do you know what?
I think you've made your point.
I'm a huge fan of the anime. I want to own all of it. All 20 odd seasons and the spin-offs and this weird.
That's the other thing, is like, if you put a price tag on it and said, yeah, you can have it all for X.
Yeah.
Then yeah, well, I'd be down for it. But no. They're not going to do that. Also, there's no such thing. You can't have Netflix if you pay 20 quid. You have to pay some subscription fee that can have add-ons and bolt-ons and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just less than ideal viewing experience.
We just sound like grumpy old men.
Again, I'm worried about the Pokemon company.
Yeah.
I think they've made some bad decisions, and they also need our sage advice on how to run their multi-billion-pound-dollar empire.
It makes you wonder why they didn't come to us in the first place. We've got all the answers.
I know. Yeah, I'd be more than willing to say, actually, I would like to see the second half of this season that's never aired in the UK. I mean, we can't complain too much, right? When we were kids, it was you'd have to just watch whatever fucking episode they decided to put on Saturday morning.
I know.
Who cares if
they weren't in chronological order ever. There was like, I remember. This is a really weird thing, but I remember. Do you remember there was a Saturday morning kids TV show that was all based around Warner Brothers?
Vaguely.
It used to like play Tasmania and things like that. It was also where they played Batman animated series.
Okay.
So they're at Christmas, because they would run these through the Christmas holidays as well. There was an episode of the Batman animated series which was called Christmas with the Joker, Part 1.
Yeah.
We never got Part 2.
He's still waiting, Richie.
No, I actually
what
it
were
was
they
really, really
see?
annoying. A few years ago, I actually came across it. I was like, oh, no way. I now get to see the end of this episode 30 years later. Thanks to the wonder of this. And it was only because I stumbled across some probably pointless Kotaku ad where it says, now you can see the second, Batman for the first time. Like, why the hell was I never able to see this before? And it's just like, mental. It's now bugging me that I can't remember what the name of that
episode was.
No, the Saturday morning.
Was that the one that the Animaniacs was also on?
Yeah, Animaniacs, Tasmania, and Batman animated series.
Yeah. So maybe we shouldn't complain. Actually, we are progressively getting things better, and in another 30 years, we'll be able to just view things in chronological order at our leisure. When we started off from, you just have to view things at this certain time, and if you miss it, you're fucked, and we'll do whatever random episode. Now we're halfway there, and the children of the future will be able to sit and chronologically watch TV programs that people have lovingly made.
It was called What's Up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
Yeah.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Sorry. Yep. Cool.
What have you been playing?
So, I have been playing, and I think I've mentioned this before, which defeats the purpose of it. No. I have been playing the expansion to Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know there was an expansion.
Yes, so it's the Mr. X Nightmare expansion, and they've added 4 new characters. I say it questioningly because I can only think of 3 right now. But yeah, they've added new characters to it, which you can use to play through the game.
It's always useful for characters.
But they did a pre-patch for it as well, which basically overhauled the characters, their ranges, and tidied up a little bit of their what's it called? Their combos and the sort of the ways to hit them off the corners, the edges of the screen. Yeah. They tweaked Axel. Generic boy Genericson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've made him so much more fun to play. I was playing it during pre-patch, and it's just combo. I mean, I don't know what they've done because it hasn't really changed how he plays, but it just feels so much more fun to play. I don't know if I'm being articulate enough here.
Well, I was going to say, we know that you're a competitive Streets of Rage single-player story mode player, having won the Streets of Rage 2 competition when you were younger. Has the pre-patch tweaked the meta for the competitive Streets of Rage 4 player?
I have no idea what the competitive side of it has had any effect on it, because quite honestly I was just enjoying playing through, because you play through, you up the difficulty a little bit, you keep the combo up. The mechanic for how you handle life regeneration and spending your specials is so cool, because basically you have one bar, and if you spend, or if you do a more powerful move, basically like you take a little bit of you spend a little bit of your life or potential life to use that move.
Yeah.
But if you keep a combo going, or indeed you pick up food as you're going along, you're actually just getting that the amount that you spent on your health bar back. If you get me?
Yeah, so if you keep a combo up, your health bar goes up.
No.
Oh.
You have to let the combo time out to get your health bar
Okay.
back, but you don't really want the combo to time out, so it's sort of risk and reward all the way through the game.
Can you KO yourself through doing specials, or will it remain?
No. You like it, once you get down to the 0 health, you're like, if you're playing on 0 health, without getting hit once, I mean, like, yeah, you might as well just be like doing YouTube videos all day of how cool you are. But yeah, like that mechanic I think is really, really good, and it suits that kind of arcadiness within a game.
Yeah, it is an arcadey, definitely an arcadey game.
Yeah, no, definitely, and
but an ingenious solution, perhaps, to what I have always found to be a rub with side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
Yeah.
Is that if you don't know what's coming up, they're just really hard. Okay.
Yeah, no, the levels are actually quite short. You spend maybe 5 minutes per level, and you do have chances to parry hits or get used to how a new enemy, when they appear on the screen, gets handled. And like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like when you watch people who are absolutely nuts at this game on YouTube, you're just like, oh, this sickens me as to how good this person is. And it's only because they know exactly what's going to happen next and they're standing in the right place.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know if you remember much about Streets of Rage, but you get these people that breathe fire and then just walk diagonally across the screen.
Yeah, I was playing Streets of Rage 2 the other day with a friend, and I could sort of remember the early levels, but then, there are levels where the guys just plow across in the motorbike, and you can only really get them if you're at a certain level with them to do a kit. Otherwise, they just hit you and you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. But then you've got crappy little mechanics that exist even in the older ones where you're invincible for a little bit whilst you're doing the animation to hold someone, so you can and that sort of stuff. And you can use, like, if you keep friendly fire on, then you can use your buddy as a person that you hold, so you can both stay invincible at that point when they charge past you, and then all that sort of tech. But yeah, like, it's ridiculous. Like, I'll never be that good, but I tell you what, when playing as Axel with his new rejigged combo system, it was fluid, it was fun, it was just great to play. The 3 new characters, maybe 4, the 3 new characters that they have, I was really looking forward to playing as Estelle, who's this kind of great big female cop, and she's got this cool sort of hairdo, sort of like one braided tail on one side, and she's cool. But actually playing as her is like, compared to Axel, it's like walking through mud or walking through a swamp. She's just, be faster, be more, reactive.
What kind of character is she? Grappler? She looks like a grappler.
I think it's hard to pigeonhole these characters into that kind of. They're not grapplers and zoners and things like that. Although I suppose Cherry is a zoner, yeah.
Yeah, because Max was pretty much a grappler, and Blaze was a little bit of a range count, had much more kind of range to her, and Axe was your kind of standard.
Yeah. And Adam's also a lot of fun to play. Very generic, boring character. But Adam in Streets of Rage 4 is probably like my second favourite character to play. But I hate the fact that he's my second favourite character to play. Like, there are so many other exciting and interesting characters there, and yet I fall back to the mechanics of how they play in the game to decide if they're my favourite or not. I suppose that is a failing. With a lot of games, you can choose the character based on how they look and feel, or just how they look, and think, you know what, I'm going to main this character. I'm going to learn them inside out, and I want to play as them. Whereas Streets of Rage 4, like, yeah, I could sit and learn, the big steel-armed Jax rip-off guy. Or I could actually have fun playing as Axel. It's a weird one, but I suppose, like, teach your own. I'm sure that people could take that aesthetics thing, but I just find it very hard to waffle and waffle on. Waffle. Yeah.
Are there secret characters?
Yes. Basically, as you progress through the game, there is an EXP bar, which is just basically you've played the game for this amount of time, or you defeated this many enemies, so you get some EXP. And at each level you unlock the retro Streets of Rage 1, 2 and 3 characters, which is quite cool.
Have you unlocked the super secret character yet?
No.
Do you know what it is?
Is it? It's not Roger. Is it,
Basically, a fake Roger. Rue.
Hmm?
Rue.
Rue. Yeah. Yeah, Rue's in the game as a bartender.
Really?
Yeah.
Who knew? Well, that sounds very good.
But yeah,
I
Streets of Rage
loved-
4 is a really, really fun game. It's
Yeah.
well worth picking up.
I love Streets of Rage. I don't think I played the first one. I played 2 and 3. And the ending song to Streets of Rage 2. Who knew that the kind of ending song of Streets of Rage 2 would be any good? It's fantastic. I still have it. I still listen to it regularly.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. That was back. I downloaded it back in the day when video game music didn't have words. You'd just go and have to find the files and listen to them all in no order whatsoever. So you'd have to listen to like hundreds of hey, and then you get the music from level 2.
Yeah. I remember, what was it? It was Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
You could put that in a CD player and it had like 99 tracks.
Yeah.
And it was just basically her exertions.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
oh!
And then also what she'd say in the tutorial as well. So she's just like, I don't have to jump everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the cutscenes as well. Yeah. Used to love that. They stopped doing that though. I remember the GTA on PlayStation was sort of the last game that you could just pop the disc into a computer and rip all the music off, and they stopped doing it so easily. Anyway, obviously there are means and ways.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, last up,
Yeah.
what have you been playing?
What have I actually been
Playing, yes, this time, not watching.
Not
if you don't mind.
I've been downloading a lot of demos. We've been blessed with a couple of Nintendo Directy type things, and so I always have a go at the demos. Particularly because I do like it, and this demo is available at the end of this presentation. Oh, that's really exciting. So I downloaded the WarioWare Get It Together.
Oh, right, cool.
Demo. I mean, hot take on WarioWare. It's really good.
Yeah, not like you are a massive WarioWare fan. I don't know that many people that are like into it or really like it, but yeah, I would say that this is a good chance for WarioWare to be a bigger hit.
Yeah, hopefully. They've always been weird. I remember they started, maybe it was back in the GBA days, when, again, particularly in the UK, there would be games that we just didn't get.
Like
but
get cognitively or just physically get?
Just this never came
Okay.
over. Just never got ported. Although I think actually we got a WarioWare that America didn't get. But it was definitely one of those weird franchises. And it wasn't like, the Zeldas and the Marios of this world, despite being a main Nintendo character, if you like. And then it wasn't until I distinctly remember reading in one of the Nintendo magazines about WarioWare on the GameCube, being this wacky collection of micro games. If you're not familiar with WarioWare, that we used to play a lot of together. And it's just huge fun. You've got whatever it is, 15 seconds to work out what's going on and try and do it.
F that. It's usually split second fucking. Right, okay, gotta do the thing.
Swat a fly, put a finger up a nose, pluck a nose hair out. Really fun. And then each of those will have 3 different difficulty iterations. And, if you're playing it multiplayer, they speed up and they get harder. Then there were all kinds of wacky ones. There's one that you could make your own games and share them on the DS. So the new kind of innovation in WarioWare Get It Together is you can take on all the mini games with different characters, and all the characters there's a expanded Wario family, and they're not as annoying as the Sonic family. Some of them are getting there, and there's now that's like 9 volt, 12 volt, 6 volt, so it's getting a bit unwieldy, but we like most of them. And and they each do different things, which completely change the way you play the game. But you can, in theory, do every mini game with every character. So in the short demo, which is downloadable, and you get quite a few, like 6 or 7 characters, I think you unlock. But obviously you only get a handful of the micro games, and so you get to see how they play. Some characters are slightly better at some micro games. In theory, they're all doable. Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick it up anymore because when do I ever see people to sit on a couch and play games? More than one person, should we say? Although we did have there's a rare moment that happened recently, which I might have talked about before, where it was kind of exciting to dig out all these, like the last 3 generations worth of multiplayer games that we hadn't played. So yeah, WarioWare would be great for that. But I probably won't pick up. But it looks like another great slice of wacky micro game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for anybody who's into a little bit of like it's very, very couch co-op friendly fun. And I kind of want to own it, even though I don't ever have people around my house and I don't have friends. But yeah, it's just like if that ever happens,
Yeah, this is one that I mentally pick out for a younger me. Like a younger me and his friends would definitely appreciate this.
Exactly. When for some reason you had more time, in general, and you could like sit down and just spend an afternoon playing games.
Yeah.
How like it just doesn't happen anymore.
Well, it's because we now have to go to work and also make the meals and work for the man and
damn the man.
Be depressed and be aware of what's going on in the world and just not have the inclination to sit and pick a giant nose.
Brilliant.
Anymore. Yeah, I'm sure you can make time for it. I mean, we've discussed this many times before. Oh, I don't have any time to play any games anymore. So I'm up to 2,000 hours on World of Warcraft.
No, yeah, I don't even look at my /played anymore. I've devoured.
It's what you make time for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy that WarioWare continues, and it looks like another great entry in the series. It's weird. It feels like I'm trying to sell WarioWare to people. I don't get a sense.
Oh my god! Imagine us thinking of ourselves as legitimate journalism. Oh god, we can't have that happen.
Well, I think Nintendo needs some advice from 2 little guys. That guy's a maniac on international distribution of their products. No, it always strikes me as being slightly off the beaten track, even though there is Wario is well loved character and is in all the Mario Karts, Mario Tennis. There's a WarioWare stage, 2 WarioWare stages in Smash Brothers that I'm sure people must have been like, what's this crazy thing came from? But
yeah, it sits very squarely in the crazy Japanese genre.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there's nothing more to say really.
No, one of those games that I think, or series that thrived on word of mouth, but very few people would have walked into a game back in the day and be like,
I mean, there's probably a million other games that people would choose before they get something called WarioWare.
Yeah, it didn't help itself, even though the art design is kind of very strong, but the cover of the cases tell you nothing. I mean, I don't. How do you communicate what WarioWare is about?
We grew up in a time where the cover of any box of any video game looked nothing like the actual game itself.
Yeah, but at least it would give you an insight into kind of roughly what you were
This
getting
is
into.
definitely an egg that seems to be swinging through the jungle. Dizzy in the jungle.
Yeah, but that's what you get. Hang on, I'm going to grab the box for WarioWare on the GameCube.
Okay. Am I supposed to fill for time? No. This is awful. This is the worst worst way to. Yeah. I've actually got a little bit of anxiety, sort of left by myself just to.
Did you cover for me?
Time. No, I floundered really, really badly.
I dropped all my games on the floor.
Good.
The front. So I'm looking
Karma.
at Nintendo. I'll describe it for the bit of audio description. The cover for WarioWare Inc., which is the Nintendo GameCube game. It's pure yellow. So imagine pure yellow. It's got a nice yellow spine as well.
Yeah.
At the top it says only for Nintendo GameCube. And then there's a logo that says WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games, and then it's just a picture of Wario in his motorcycle gear with his hands in the air, and a really bad speech bubble coming out of his wrist saying over 200 minigames.
Okay.
It looks like vaporware.
Yeah.
Solidly looks like vaporware. And it has the original Nintendo seal of quality, which, as we know, meant less and less as the years went on.
Maybe we'll put a picture of it on the social medias.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We always remember to do that.
Take a picture of it now.
Yeah. I have the German version. Well, maybe there's some strange...
The German
debug.
techno version.
Some strange debug menu. Secret German version. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
WarioWare get together.
Cool. But that's everything then.
That's the end of the podcast.
Wow. That guy's a maniac.
Yeah, what about me?